Hello, we are Shed Life, and this is the Talking Sheds podcast, episode number 5, where we talk about music we like, and we like Jeff Rosenstock.
Yeah, we do.
Love Jeffy boy.
Episode 5. Take 2. We tried this one already. It got corrupted.
Yep.
You know, we'll maybe release that someday. But for right now, here we are.
There's going to be a lot of meta humor.
Yeah.
You have to be a robot to listen to that one. It's a lot of robot noises now.
Yeah, Bender fucks with that, though. So, yeah, Jeff Rosenstock. We're going to be talking about a couple of albums, a little bit of a twofer here. We're going to be talking about No Dream and then Ska Dream, which is the same songs. Jeff made them ska songs, covered his own album. Talk about meta. Jeez. Yeah. It's awesome. It's super cool. And so we'll kind of go back and forth between the two. And, you know the drill. Talk about what we like. Talk about what we don't like. Talk about, the music here.
Smoking, some drinking.
I think Jeff is a very unique voice and a very unique sound in a always developing world of music.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
And I think this album is a testament to that and his development.
Not just an evolving world of music, but in the evolving state of our world writ large.
It's a big pool out there.
I mean, he literally evolved the album into
well,
a
because of
album.
the social commentary aspect of the whole album and everything.
Yeah, lots of that on there.
Yep.
It's not apolitical.
And lots of self-interpolation.
Yeah, I think there's equal parts sad with the world and political strife, as well as internal, disputes and personal strife.
No Time.
First song. Song 1.
Yeah, it's super short.
It's a quick one.
It's aggressive.
Yep.
Balls to the wall, real quick. Little blaster, get you into it.
Yeah.
Very fast, very fun, very cute.
Talking about how, he didn't have the time to develop the foundation of being like a healthy person. So when all these other people were learning how to like exist in the world as a functioning human, he didn't have the time to learn those skills.
Yeah,
so now he
was too busy making fucking awesome music.
But also just like trying to find fulfillment in his own life, and how like even though he wants to try, it can still seem unrealistic to him.
Yeah, I think he's almost maybe envious in a sarcastic light of the people who did kind of develop those skills or can find happiness, even if it's like this naive sort of stupid happiness. They find happiness in the world, and I think he, saying like, I didn't have the time to figure that out, but more of a...
Yeah, I definitely like hear in his lyricism like some envy in the people that are able to do that, but then at the same time there's like a cynicism where he's just like, I don't understand how they could find the time to do
almost
that.
A disdain for like the stupidity that enables that sort of a mindset
and like the unfairness.
Yeah,
I think.
Why do those people get to be the happy ones when they're not doing anything better or achieving anything greater? They're just deciding, not even deciding, just they are existing happier.
Do they find this happiness in ignoring other problems that he can't ignore or he can't not think about?
I feel like that plays into the unfairness of life. This whole album is like a testament to how unfair things are, but how he works through them, or how he interprets them, or how he takes a perspective from the world that he may not fully understand and then put it into something that can be digestible.
So No Time, good introduction to kind of the tone of the album, and then it goes straight into, just hits right into Nike's alt, which is called Air Max Alt on the ska version, which I like a lot.
I think of this kind of like, as far as like thematically as an extension of No Time, where he's talking about how he tries to find happiness in a lot of like superficial things, like a new pair of Nikes, and how at the same time that still feels like distractions to him from like focusing on a lot of things that matter
and the problems, the true problems.
Yeah,
that's
and like his own.
Yeah, contrast.
Issues.
I like the way you just phrased that.
Yeah,
a lot.
Especially like since it contrasts like the other like middle of the album songs and their themes, like where they're like more about like some serious shit.
Which could be like, oh, he's just trying to throw. It's like he's doing like political incorrectness and like social awareness. So he's like, let's throw materialism in there too. But at the same time, he's not just doing that. He's doing it purposefully because he's trying to address all these issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I love
the
that.
reason
I love
give Jeff, like I believe that
it's him being genuine.
And he's equally as critical about himself
exactly
in these own points. He's like, I'm not helping this. I'm not making it. I'm just as shitty.
Yeah.
And I feel this way about this. Like, like later down the line, like the the song where he's it's like your mom's renting out your place.
And like the sweeping hair at your mom's salon. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
Yes.
it's like a big like fuck you, yeah, you deserve, yeah, your mom's renting out your place.
Yeah, it was
Sorry,
like a
Nick.
roast almost.
And I like how like this like kind of almost comes from like a place of or selfishness where he's like, I want to be happy and I know these things aren't necessarily the best, but I know that they can make me happy at least for a little bit.
Looking for a dream that won't
Or-
morph into a nightmare, lying to myself about things that I love.
Chasing bliss is only numbing it.
Yeah. It's, I think it's funny how I think there's a lot on this album that the music sounds really like familiar and almost happy and major and like accessible. And then once you listen to what the words are, it's like almost the exact opposite vibe, where it's actually this really like dark sort of criticism of the world, but through this like almost he does the music for Craig of the Creek on Cartoon Network. Like he makes children's show music, and he is used to making and ska music, like very accessible stuff, but then with such a sad, like depressed set of lyrics. Yeah, set of lyrics on top of it. It's a weird like dichotomy.
It is super familiar. Like I just like listened to Jeff Rosenstock, and this is the first time this is the first album, and like hearing it, I just felt like I've heard this like somewhere, like this style, and like I just kind of I got a lot of like old school Green Day from it, but at the same time like a lot like more like just more punk, like a little bit harder, and like just the commentary stuff is so cool, but then like all the personal stuff is just like is also very unique, and like it contrasts the commentary stuff in such a neat way.
Green Day is a parallel I would never ever draw.
I know,
but it makes such good sense. Like it really is.
Like I just
similar in
I just
nature.
kind of I just hear a bit of like Dookie or like Nimrod or
Totally,
something.
it's the social critique. It's the punk aesthetic.
Yes,
it's the driving. Like
He's so good at bridging all those gaps.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
ska.
It's
punk,
everything.
Rock.
It is
he takes it
everything.
all and he just makes it Jeff.
Let's scram with that idea. Get to the
Yeah,
next
scram
song.
next.
frickin' Scram. I love Scram.
This is a great song.
Yeah. Little drum machine intro that's like
Yeah.
borderline
It's minimal.
sarcastic.
It's minimal.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a lot going on with it.
It's like it's like the intro to freaking what the hell is that song? This is not the only time I'll talk about it tonight either, but that All American Reject song.
Gives
You hell.
When you
It's
see,
like the
I
same-
fucking
it's the
love
same-
that song.
It's such a good. Okay,
It's a
I will
fucking
go up.
classic.
Best song of the 2000s, the 2000, it was like 2007,
Knots.
2000.
It's got to be like 2010. It's
It's
got to be like
earlier than
early
2010.
It's
in
earlier than
2006,
2010 because
2006.
the first time I
It's
ever
definitely
heard it,
2008. 2008.
I was gonna say 9.
It's definitely earlier.
I'm
than
gonna go
It's
8.
definitely 08.
Definitely
I
earlier than
remember
9. I
being
think.
in
I
fourth
had
grade.
Hey, Jamie,
listen.
That song is amazing.
I had it on my iPod in a playlist that I titled "My Best of 2007."
That sounds right.
okay.
Hold on.
I think it's
All right.
2007.
All right. Released 2008.
Really?
Yeah.
The album or the single?
The album.
I was thinking a different All American Reject song.
Anyways,
I was thinking of the All
there
Russian
is a
one.
similar
All right.
drum loop at the beginning of both that's just kind of understated introduction where there's a lot more to come, but why give it all away at once? Let's just start with this very simple little, boom, choo, choo, boom, boom, choo. And then he goes into this whole thing about how he's getting this hypocritical advice from all these people that are, telling him one thing and how he should be living this moral way and how the real way to get ahead is by working hard and keeping your head down. But then they're all cut in line.
Is that what you took from it?
Yeah.
That's literally the
I
word.
thought it was
Yes.
about racism
Well,
and
I
like
think
segregation and like
I think it's about people from positions of privilege.
that's probably
Not realizing that they're in a position of privilege and giving very hypocritical advice.
that's probably more right.
And it starts off as this cool little punk song, and then, dude, the whole second half is freaking
It's
sick
crazy.
as heck. Yeah, there's like the
Wild Thornberry section.
yeah, exactly. The freaking
Donnie.
dude. And then, right before that, there's that freaking like the phaser section that sounds right out of the
Oh,
80s.
yeah,
it sounds
yeah,
like
yeah.
like Michael Jackson.
There's
or
a
Van
lot of
Halen
cool
or
Yeah.
synths
something.
on
Yeah.
this album. Like we didn't talk about, but like the end of No Time. Like there's fun synths.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of cool synth stuff. Just real quick, during that breakdown at the end of Scram, the freaking kick drum turns into this fat, like distorted, like it almost sounds like in trap music when the fucking 808 just distorts the and it turns into this fat, like It's almost like squishy how fat it. Yeah, it's such a wacky kick sound, and I
a
love
little bit
it.
of those kick drum love handles, am I right? That kick drum's got cankles on it. Shit.
Then we go into No Dream.
Then we go into No Dream.
Title track of the album.
I love it.
It's not a dream. It's not a dream.
That was really good.
Thank you. Am I Joe Rosenstock? What you got, Evan? What you say, man?
I love No Dream because it starts off kind of like the guitar, the instrumentals sound fun and hopeful, but the lyrics are kind of about like sadness and suffering being billed as like entertainment and having people profiting off of people's pain.
And that is Jeff Rosenstock in a whole.
Yeah,
That's
but
basically
he's
him.
kind of talking about how people don't acknowledge that and how they'll go to sleep at night and not think about it.
I
would
totally,
never- who cares?
And they still have good dreams.
How
you
much
know?
easier is it
He
to,
said, "Yeah, pretend
to
that we're
forget
asleep."
than to
Yeah.
But
acknowledge?
the things that we don't, or what does he say? That we don't see.
Pornography.
I totally agree with that. For like the point on the first part, like where it seems kind of fun. There's like a tambourine going too.
Like it.
There
Well, it
is.
has that.
Yeah.
It
It just sounds fun.
It's almost like the '60s. It's
It-
like
yeah.
that political movement type.
Yeah.
like-
It really
Bob
reminds me
Dylan
of like.
shit.
yeah, exactly.
It reminds me a lot of like the Dead Kennedys. How like one of their like most fun and happy sounding songs is also just like Jello screaming like kill 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 the poor. Like,
It goes into legitimate punk music.
Yeah.
It turns into, once it starts breaking down, get a drum fill, and then it's straight up just like punk.
because the beginning I think is very poetic, and then the second half just turns into like a rant against like capitalism being so like dystopian.
Did I mention punk?
Have you ever?
Yeah.
The last line of the song is "fuck violence."
Yeah.
Well, and he puts on like his best ranted impression too. So he's like ranting and ranting away, and then also just doing it with that like almost like the Amy Interrupter sound, which he's got the
Like
Well,
he doesn't
it's-
give a shit. I love
Tim
it.
Time Bomb like lazy jaw vocal delivery. It's straight punk. It's awesome.
And then like his performance gets so wacky.
That's what makes it so
'cause
raw.
Like he goes into the falsetto, which is like not the best falsetto you've ever heard, but there's so much personality in it. You know,
That's a good
he's
word
going
for it.
for it.
State line
Dude, this freaking
is the
song,
next song.
It starts with the synth hook. You know, fuck
Bum,
you.
bum,
All of you
bum,
laughing at
bum,
me.
bum,
It
bum,
starts
bum.
with, yeah,
That-
the catchiest little synth hook, and it's like a little bit of a weird rhythm, enough to be catchy, but it's repetitive, so it's a hook, and it's so cute. It sets a vibe, and I think for the first time on the album, it really matches the vibe with the lyrics, like the vibe of the music with the intention of the lyrics throughout the entire song. It's like this bittersweet, nostalgic scene that it sets out, and it's talking about like basically touring around the world and missing home, missing this person, like not enjoying like all the shitty parts of tour. You know, the power goes out in Sweden, they turn the lights off or whatever, like all these different fucking things.
Yeah,
that-
but to me, it's also like him missing things that he doesn't really have. Like at one point, like a person he loves, or at least it seems like he's talking about that.
right. Can I
And
take
so-
you across the state line?
Yeah, and then later, he's always talking about how this person that he loves is not a person in his life at the moment,
Later in the song or later on
or
the album?
on the album.
Okay.
You know, so it's almost like he's nostalgic for things he doesn't have,
I
and
think-
more like things he wants.
Yeah, I think there's an element of that there. The way that I interpret it is that when he wrote this, he might have had a person in mind, just like with the Ohio.
I was just
Yeah,
gonna say, do you
which
think
I
this?
So like, I think there
There's a-
has, and he could
It
write
might
these
be
songs.
correlated.
I was
It
just
might
gonna
be
say there might be a
correlated.
tie-in. You
Yeah,
know?
and these could be songs that were written over the course of 12 years that he
Yeah.
thought just tied into a similar
And there's
theme or whatever.
also like throughout the songs there are like references to other songs. Like I mean, he's constantly singing about not having enough time to do the things that are
he
healthy
repeats
for
lines
him.
kind of like how Delta Sleep was. Like there
Yeah.
are repeated themes throughout the whole thing. But I think even if he does have that person, he's still idealizing the relationship with them, because he would also write another song about how that relationship is not perfect. So, and I think we all do that. Like we idealize the relationships that we're in, or especially looking back, or when we're away. Like it's, you know, distance makes the heart go fonder and all that kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
it's easy to be homesick when you're away, and then sick of home when you're home.
But then at the end, it feels like he's kind of like, oh well, like I'll survive, you know, like even though I don't have these things that, like, to me, they're my necessities, they're what I need. I don't have them, I'll be fine, which I like. There's like it's really bittersweet.
Yeah. I want to talk about the melody in this one. I think one thing that Jeff does kind of repeatedly is does these unique, like, rising melodies where he's sustaining these high notes, ba da 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 ba da da da, just always going up and up, and, like, you know, it's kind of the same thing as in freaking Nausea and a couple other songs on this record where, yeah, it's just a unique thing that he does, and it's really catchy. I love the way that it sounds, and he does it all over this song. It's great.
Yeah, isn't that called sequencing?
What he does in this one is sequencing, where he's doing the same shape multiple times as it moves up. And then also, second time I'm bringing up that song by the All American Rejects. Freaking, in this one, the first time he says the name of the chorus, "Can I take you across the state line?" He just says the first words, and then it goes right back to the intro. So it's just this little teaser at the first chorus. And that's the same thing that they do in
Gives You Hell.
Gives You Hell, because they only do the first. Oh, it's so good. They do like a reduced instrumental for the first verse, and it's a short verse, and then they go straight into the chorus. But they skip the pre-chorus, but it's only the first like 2 lines of the chorus. Then they go in this cute little instrumental. Then they bring in the band, and they do the second verse, but it's a short verse, so it rushes right to the pre-chorus, which is the first time you've heard the pre-chorus. And then they have a huge entrance of the full chorus with all of its stuff, and it's kind of what Jeff does too. It's like you tease the chorus, then you go back to the beginning, and you work to continue the build. And so, like, the second time there's the verse, instead of just having the like little drum loop that was the introduction to this song, now he's got the band behind him, and it's starting to build more. And then you get the chorus, the first full chorus, you know, and it hits better. I love it.
It hits great.
And then there's a little, you know, he does like da 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 da, the 3 + 3 + 2 rhythm, which is always just a fun one. I love that.
FAMEE.
Fame. Fame.
I like the way this one builds up.
Yeah,
Starts off really
sucker
low.
for a good build, and
Yeah.
it's just like the same thing the whole time, but it just drives more and more and more. It's like snowballing the whole time until the end. He's going from what was just his little singing thing to like
all of a sudden
screaming.
it's huge. Yeah.
The whole second half of this song is really interesting because of how repetitive it is, but every repetition, not every repetition, but he's able to build on these repetitions really well and make them more, like, continue the excitement and energy of the song.
Yeah, I think also adding to that excitement is how he kind of just pulls that hook line in out of nowhere.
You will not control.
Yeah.
No, the line
Oh.
up to watch it crash and burn.
Oh yeah.
The
You know,
fame, the
did you
fame,
move
the
the banner?
fame.
Oh, yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
lose
Why don't
magic?
you- And dude, that little hook line sounds like Pup to me. Every time I hear it, it's the vocal delivery and everything. I hear Pup. It's awesome.
The fame.
Which the only time I've ever seen Jeff play live was when he played Hey Allison on stage with Pup. And
That's a good song too. I feel like we gotta have like a Jeff.
I
guy.
would be all about that.
Yeah, 'cause I just want.
We could go through all the Bomb the Music
just
industry
like you
stuff
and Weird
like,
Cities, Bonus Oceans, fucking.
We could go through all of
Everything.
his stuff
Hey
with
Allison,
Asian Man,
everything,
all of
yeah.
his stuff with freaking
Anyway.
What I like about, like, Fame lyrically too is that it's almost like reminiscent of No Dream, how it's talking about like people like watching like suffering happen,
Oh,
but
yeah.
in this instance it's more, he relates it more to himself and people like looking at him and how he feels that people might want to watch him be a train wreck and crash and burn, and how he doesn't want people to like find enjoyment in that, or like also to tell him how to like live his life as a musician.
That's how I see it the most, is almost like a, fuck you to the haters, where it's like, you guys are all trying to contribute your ideas of how this should be going, or, you tell me how I should act because you lost your magic. The magic faded for you, so now you're going to shit on my dream. Like, fuck you with that. Line up, watch it crash and burn. Like, I'm going to do my thing until it's
I like that take.
through the ground.
I like
That's
that.
how I
I like
kinda
that
interpret
take.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that resonates a lot with the last part where he just says, "You will not control 35."
Well,
times."
that literally, you counted 35 times. That's
Yeah.
insane. Yeah, but I think that's the whole point of it is like, you will not control me. Like, you will not control what I am doing by your negative feedback.
Right, the haters or like just
His fame in
any
general.
sort of
Yeah.
fame in general, like any sort of influence that he's putting out, he's
Yeah.
just ignoring. He's being himself.
I think like not
Yeah.
even haters, but just people, like even people
I
that
just love
might
that
like
mindset.
think
That's
they
just,
have
like,
his
sick,
best
right?
interest in heart. It's just people telling him how to live his life.
And then feedback, and then it just hits right into Leave It in the Sun. I think this one's super interesting because the production on it is kind of out of nowhere, where like the vocals are sitting on top and like distorted, and it almost sounds like somebody was brand new to their interface, but like in a creative way, like on purpose. And yeah, it's very cool. And
It was an FL studio
Basically, he's
mix.
saying whoever
Yeah,
the
right.
engineer is for this album, get their shit together. on
no,
that
just
song.
this song. Whoever this one, so whoever, yeah, and it's not even just the engineer, whoever was setting levels that day.
He was tickling that day.
Yeah, and then there's a solo in this one too that has like this reverbed out little like surf rocky sound, and it's very headbangy and
yeah, I
like
love it. It
yeah.
sounds so beachy to me.
it's very
there's,
beachy.
there's like a
and,
little like whammy bar bit in there too.
Mm.
It's really cool.
Jeff Rosenstock is a beach man.
Beach dude.
Jeff Rosenstock is a 45-year-old man on the beach playing Jimmy Buffett, while
In little
also
short
while
shorts and a
also getting in his
cutoff.
car afterwards and packing his shit up and then listening to the Green Day.
Where's the Jeff
The
Rosen?
Green Day.
Where, the
Different
Green,
band.
The Green Day.
Where's the Jeff Rosenstock Margaritaville cover?
I'm
Wasted
sure it's-
away.
Jeff Rosenstock's
Get it,
Margaritaville.
I'm sure it's
Margaritaville.
out there. It's got to exist.
That was really loud. Sorry for
No, good.
whoever's listening.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah. And then he's like, part of growing up is letting go. And that's like,
Oh,
I don't know. I've been having my quarter life crisis for the last 2.5 years.
You're fucking telling me.
And yeah, right.
see,
We're all struggling.
We're all
except for
that
Sean.
age.
It's
Sean's
really
doing well.
hard to be 24, man. It really is. It's just the pinnacle of pain.
It's really hard to be
See-
middle class, white,
Evan,
dudes with beards at 24. I know.
see, this part in particular that we're talking about is like so funny to me because like that was the one lyric that I wrote down was like the part where he said, subconsciously stacked an empty beer can pyramid on a shaky table in a stranger's home. When I hightail it out of town, someone else will knock it down because I'm too proud to do it on my own. And then right after that was the last lyric of the song, and it was, hardest part of growing up is letting go. And I just love that because it's like, there's like a lot of like heart in that. The hardest part of letting go, or hardest part of growing up is letting go. But it's like, he's talking about his fucking beer can pyramid that he left at his friend's house.
It's
like,
a metaphor.
I know it is, but
what's so funny about that is like, that's the idea. Is like that beer can pyramid is so childish and dumb.
Yeah.
It's like letting go
But
of
it's
that
like that's what you
immaturity.
think
Let the
is so
sun
real when
melt
you're
it
a kid.
away.
Is
Yeah,
like these
yeah.
little things that mean nothing, you know?
And I like-
No, I know it's a
I love you. Am I
metaphor.
touching your heart?
too.
I didn't think of that, and then you said it again for
Yeah.
the second time, and I
Yeah.
was like, second time contextually, and I was like, oh, I get that now. Like, it's such a dumb thing. Like, yeah, it's a beer can pyramid, but that's what when you're a kid, that's everything. Like, that beer can pyramid is your world. You know?
Yeah, you know all
Yeah.
those kids that are drinking enough beers to make a pyramid.
Shit, man,
No,
you'd be surprised.
I totally get that it's a metaphor. It's just it's so perfect.
It's so Jeff too.
it's
Like
so
that
Jeff.
is
It's a
Jeff. Is
perfect
like
metaphor.
The childishness of the watching porn and RoboCop. The fucking
I like
20
how
something.
like for him it's not just letting go, it's like let that feeling die, because he's like leave it in the sun, let it melt away, or let it like be a blister on your skin.
It's that's good too. It's when April confronts Andy in Parks and Rec, and she's like, "We're old." Yeah. And then the next one is The Beauty of Breathing, which has like it slaps right into it, comes at like right at the end of the song, all of a sudden boom, and I
The
thought it was
snare's
just
the
another-
same, right? Like he does a snare fill, and then it's the same snare fill for the beginning
And
of the
dude,
next
it's
song.
this like bouncy, groovy freaking riff. It's that same thing where it's just easily, you hear it once and you're like, I've heard this a million times. It's comfortable, but it's still unique. It's very like simple but interesting.
This
Yeah.
was the most like familiar and nostalgic song. I felt like it just felt like so. It felt so jammy. You know what I mean? Like it was super catchy. Everything.
which conflicts a lot with the message of like not wanting to go outside because when he sees people he freaking hates them and he just wants them to go away. And he's got like the happiest he can get is sitting inside and just reminding himself that
But
there's
then,
beauty
like,
in breathing.
Even then, like when he's talking about like I'm trying to find beauty in breathing, he's like, even when they tell me to sit down and just think about breathing, I can't help but think about all the things that make me anxious.
Right. It's like
So
he can't
it's
even
like
find solace
he
in
said something like, I can't. He said, when I try to breathe, I think about the same things that keep me up at night. Which is, I think it's more him trying to find solace in things and being completely unable to. Which is why, like, at the end he says, like, that's what, like, I'm so jaded, like I can't find happiness.
Yeah.
And he's had a theme of feeling jaded since
He was
15 years ago. Yeah, it's across all his music.
Yeah. But that's also part of what is so nice about him is everybody feels jaded sometimes. Like a lot, like for me at least, like when I was feeling a little bit like that, it was like I related to him because of that.
I think this song translated very well on his new ska record. I love the horns in the beginning.
Yeah, I like across the record when he would add the horn lines to either cover like little synth parts that were in the background that you might not have even heard really, but then as a horn line, it's like a whole freaking thing.
It's a whole
It's
thing.
funny you call it that because that's what they call the state line counterpart, horn line.
Yeah, it's so good. I forget, all of the songs have awesome freaking like ska names.
Skyrim.
Yeah, Skyrim instead of Scram. It's great. All of them are freaking awesome. They crack me the heck up.
Which leads us into the next song, Old Crap.
Old Crap's phenomenal.
It's great.
It's so
Acoustic
catchy.
That's
Intro.
Old Crap, Old Jeff relation? I think so.
It's got the acoustic intro with, again, those like distorted kind of blown out vocals from a couple songs ago. Not quite as extreme, but the same idea.
And the acoustic intro is like such a breath of fresh air on the album after hearing like all these just like blown out electric guitar and drums, and
Yeah.
like it's so much to
Dude,
hear for so
this
long.
album has so much of that, like right when you need the breath, it gives you the breath.
Yeah.
But right when you're getting to the point in the album where you're like, man, there's a lot more songs to go. It's a minute long song, and it's just like, no, dude, it's bangers. Don't
Yes.
we're moving along.
It gets your
It's
attention.
paced really
put-
well.
Yeah, it really is. It's put together phenomenally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Old Crap, as much as like instrumentally a breath of fresh air is on the album, it's still very much like thematically the same as the rest of the record, which is not a bad thing.
No, it
But-
makes it consistent.
Yeah, exactly. And it's him talking about like all these distractions in his life that do make him happy, but there's still like an emptiness to these things because he knows they're just distractions, or they're bad for him and they're negative impulses.
Right. That's, a lot of that is like he knows that it's that, but the body wants to do
Yeah,
what the body wants to do.
exactly.
His brain understands that what he's going to do is wrong, but the brain wants to do what the brain wants to do. And it's, he's got that theme of like he's almost following his body around, from a third person perspective, kind of watching these things happen, even though as the observer, he understands that they're not healthy or helping.
It's kind of like, well, what are you going to do? Because I want to do this and I'm still going to do what I want to do at the end of the day.
Like not recycle sometimes.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Rip his friends off.
Dude, so then the freaking whole band comes in.
At 1
And-
minute and 30 seconds.
It sounds
pick it
like
up, pick it up.
AJJ. It sounds like an AJJ song to me. I just get straight AJJ vibes.
That's like I
Because
think
the acoustic guitar.
Yeah,
the
he says
acoustic
pick it
guitar
up,
comes
too.
through.
Pick it up.
Yeah, I love that too. Yeah,
Pick it up.
ska shout.
the
Let's
ska
go.
reference. Yes.
Bet my money on a stupid horse I lost
that.
That's not ska. I mean, it is, but it's not. Yeah, and then there's wasp sounds underneath it for some reason, like wacky synth wasp sounds. And then it goes into Airbnb. It's just B&B.
B&B.
Like a lot of it is anecdotal references and talking about like things he's experienced or people who it sounds like he knows experience. And it's kind of just, I feel like him talking about like the hardships in the mundane things in life. Like this woman doesn't know her mom's renting her old room as a B&B, and like there's sadness in that because this person needs the money, but they're also ashamed because they're not telling their daughter about it.
Yeah, I this one has a synth line that matches the vocal line underneath it. Like they do the same thing at the same. I freaking love that. I think it's really fun. He does it with guitar sometimes, he'll do it with synth sometimes, but this is just one of those examples. And then also the way that the melody climbs is similar to what I was talking about before, where he'll do the high sustained notes and do those kind of fun climbing lines. This one is kind of
it's
an
the
up and down
opposite.
thing.
It goes like way down into like his like deep range.
I'm talking
I
about
fucking love that though.
the
I fucking
verse
love that.
melody.
Oh well, I love that melody.
Yeah, it's fun. It's very exciting.
Because it's the opposite of what you've heard before.
That's
it's
true,
not
yeah.
those climbing vocals, it's descending vocals, and he goes like as low as he can go.
Which leads us into the next song.
Monday
at
the beach.
It's another fast one.
Another
This is what I was
quick one.
talking about, where you're like, wow, this is, and then boom,
This is-
just really engaging.
I think
50-second.
I think this is one of the few like genuinely happy songs on the album, where he's just like, I just want to spend the day at the beach and enjoy
it's-
the beach.
But it's also got that theme of like that happiness is fleeting. It's like you
Yeah.
get these brief windows of like the enjoyable thing.
And that goes right with the
distraction.
fact that it's literally a quick song.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
It's and it's a good quick song. It's catchy.
and it's a happy,
fun.
quick song.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
It's,
right.
For this moment, I'm happy. I'm spending Monday at the beach.
And it's 1 minute.
Jeff, feel
Yeah.
free to hit us up and tell us that we nailed all this.
Or
you're
that we're
listening.
looking way too much into.
I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
He's like, I just put them in whatever order I wrote them. Like,
Like I pulled the names out of a hat, and that's how I got my track list.
Or Jeff Rosenstocking, maybe. He pulled him out. He pulled him out of a stocking. No.
Beer almost came out my nose.
My mom used to put oranges at the bottom of our stockings.
Now she
and then
just
we go
puts
into
coal.
Honeymoon Ashtray.
My favorite song on the record.
For the record,
You just don't even wait a half a second. There's like no fucking delay.
This
It starts with a cool like
reminds me
guitar.
of Hotel California.
It has a similar heroin-y vibe.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas vibe where you've got like the sunset on the freaking beach, but it's still like grungy.
Yeah,
and scary.
I was getting more of a Ballad of Gay Tony for Grand Theft Auto 4 DLC kind of vibe from it, but I get what you're saying.
I have never played a Grand Theft Auto game. I feel like I should disclose that.
I'm thinking Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars.
No,
That's
just-
All of my information comes from looking at the cover of the game.
No, all good. No, I agree. Like it's just like it's such like it's like almost like a 80s like new wave rock feel that I get. It's just like super nostalgic.
For me,
I
it's
think-
like Vice City, but the iPod port.
I think it sounds like Belle and Sebastian. That's what I felt like.
I really liked the lyric in this song. Why would any hotel have a bearskin rug? Why would they assume I'm cool with where it's from? And it just got me thinking, like, yeah, like, what the fuck?
Sounds kind of pretentious.
Yeah, I think this is not pretentious. It was kind of the opposite. It was like,
Like the hotel's pretentious.
yeah,
Well, like-
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
This got me
like
thinking of
you,
kinda
like
like
they would
everything,
assume I
like-
want a bearskin rug,
Why
like
would you-
when I
yeah.
just want a rug in general.
Yeah.
And it had I don't know. I think there's another one where the vibe matched the instrumental, like the lyrics matched.
At a
this-
point, I think.
I
Because
don't know.
I feel like as the song goes on, it progressively gets less. Like when it starts, I think that's him with a person that he cares about a lot, and and they're finding happiness in like going into a souvenir shop and buying a dumb ashtray. And as the song goes on, like the lyrics to me seem like they get a little bit more tired of things, like with the relationship, and less. Everything's a little bit less like, this is great. I care a lot about this person more. I'm going through the motions, but like when I see this ashtray, I still remember that at some time, like I've had good times with this person.
I think you can kind of sniff that out from the beginning almost, where it's like
Yeah.
it's got that, it might be a pretty sunset, but it still feels grimy. Like there's
Dude,
still an
a-
upset stomach. in
Something
there.
uncomfortable
Yeah, it's
about
uncomfortable from the rip, even though there is that like we're having this nice moment doing the gift shop thing. It's had the happiness is fleeting. Like it will be. This ashtray is a souvenir of this time, but really it's a souvenir of having been happy in the past.
it. Yeah, which I think is one of the biggest themes. It's just that happiness is not something that you can always grasp. It's always something that can dissipate.
Especially as somebody who is like mentally awake and truly observing what's going on.
Yeah, where I think like a lot of the politics come in is just him also talking about like, how can I be happy when these people aren't, and stuff like that.
So much injustice happening directly around me by the system that I am at least implicit in.
Yeah.
And then we get into Ohio Turnpike.
Ohio Turnpike.
Last song on the album.
Ooh, fuck John. That was
Yeah, I
sexy.
got you, buddy.
God damn.
I sing in the car, dude. and
Do
the
it again.
shower.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Ohio Turnpike.
That was sick.
Thank you.
It's my favorite vocal performance on the album. It feels like, not that his other stuff doesn't feel professional or intentional, but this is just like, it is confident, powerful, intentional, well performed. I love it. I think that it's a really good example of what he is capable of vocally.
The climax of this song is so amazing. I love the ending.
Yeah, but that's also like the ending of the record. You know, it's just like a
Yeah.
awesome
It's
way.
another
It's
thing
so-
where it's the perfect sounds for that spot on the
Yeah,
record.
And it's so
it's-
melancholy,
Yeah.
which is great because that's how the whole album is.
All right. What's your favorite song, Eric?
My favorite is Scram. I really like it. I think it's catchy. I think you can just listen to it once and be into it, or continue to listen to it and get a lot more from it. I like the fucking blown out kick drum. I like the way that the breakdown is. I like the phaser 80s sound in the middle there. I think it's a great song.
I liked Old Crap. That was my favorite.
I used to think it was No Dream, but now I think it's Ohio Turnpike because I love all the chants in it, and they hit really hard.
True.
I think it's a good song.
I'm going to change my answer. I think it's State Line. I think that in State Line, the synth intro is fucking so catchy, and I love that sentiment of when I leave, can I please take some of you with me? Let me have the part of you that makes me. The line about
You're gonna make me cry, Eric.
what the fuck's the line where he's like, when you remember, I'm not going to do it as artfully as him, but it's the hint, the memory of your
Of
past life, but
yeah.
it's so fleeting. It's like, when you this idea of basically kind of when you wake up you forget, but you have this. You ever have that
Spit it
feeling?
out. Spit it out.
I
Fuck. Jesus
spat it
Christ.
out. I was getting there.
You're like getting like a quarter of the way there, and you're like, but maybe you ever dream.
Sean, what's your?
John, what's your favorite?
7-4.
My favorite pick on the record was Honeymoon Ashtray. It was just such a cool song. Like the intro on it, the guitar was it was just such a vibe. Honestly, it was like I really liked how hard everything on this record was, but Honeymoon Ashtray was literally just a straight vibe for the whole time for me.
Very good song. My favorite was The Beauty of Breathing. I just love the groove in the beginning. I think it's really sick, and I think it translates well on the ska record as well. Yeah, and I like the whole idea of it. Yeah.
What do you rate it, Eric?
I'm gonna go with the beach again, but like a beachy island, but it's raining. You know what I mean? Like a sad beachy island. You're in paradise, but it's not paradise. It's like Costa Rica on a bad day.
But out of what?
I want to
You ever
rate.
see Survivor Man when he goes
God
to Costa Rica?
damn it! Let me rate this fucking album. I rate it the Deo song. That's my rating.
He said "Dale."
The Counting Bananas song. That's how I rate this.
But from the scene in Beetlejuice.
And Beetlejuice.
In
Yeah,
Beetlejuice,
yeah.
yeah.
That's my rating on it.
I give it 8 checkerboard vans.
Damn,
Damn.
that's good.
All left foots though.
I give it 6 pick it ups.
Pick it up, 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 pick it up,
Pick it up.
pick it up. I didn't count.
Neither did I.
Okay.
I
There's at
give
least
this
6.
record Donda.
Donda,
Donda.
Donda,
Donda.
Donda, Donda, Donda.
Donda.
Fuck you, Kanye West.
Talking Sheds out.